Back with Mayor Sylvester Turner as you approach the end of this 8-year tenure as the mayor of the city of Houston. One of the things that was big on the agenda, it seemed to me, is always getting attention as well, were crime and public safety.
Yeah.
And you've got several police chiefs working with you on different things.
Yes.
Talk about those challenges and what you have done to make things safer for the citizens of Houston that might not have been there before.
You know, prior to COVID, let's say the homicide rate in the city of Houston was below 300. Okay, during COVID and after COVID, the numbers went up, not just in the city of Houston, but nationally. So 2020 was not a good year because the number was above 300, close to 400. In 2021, it got even higher, close to 474 homicides. In January of 22, it seems like those numbers were going to go even higher than 21. And that's when we put forth One Safe Houston, a very collective, comprehensive approach where it included more boots on the ground, okay, but it also utilization of technology, investing in gun buyback programs, money for re-entry programs, community initiatives, crisis intervention. That was a huge piece. And what we then noticed was that around April of May of 2022, those numbers started to go down. And what we have seen, and factually, is that the numbers have been going down ever since. Mm-hmm. So, for example, as of this week, let's say December the 7th, homicides in the city of Houston, 126 fewer than in 2021 this time. Last year, for example, this year, 80 fewer homicides this time than in 2022. Violent crime going down, even nonviolent crime in the city of Houston going down. So we've seen the numbers trending down after One Safe Houston. The reality is that from 2020, 2021, even going into 2022, you've seen more violence, and even when the numbers are going down, people still don't feel safe. So the perception is there. And if people don't feel safe, you can stand up before people and give them the numbers, but if they don't feel safe, then they're not safe. And quite frankly, you don't claim, even when the numbers are going down, you don't claim victory or mission accomplished, because if one person is the victim of crime, for that one person, that's a real deal. So you can say to that person, no, but the numbers are going down, but they are a victim. Or if it's someone, for example, who is a homicide, the family of that person, they are the ones who are feeling the pain, and they'll feel the pain permanently. So saying to them, oh, well, the numbers are going down, that doesn't mean anything to them, because they are now mourning and they're suffering a loss that will last for a lifetime.
But you think things have been going in the right direction at this point, and you've done all that you can do, right?
I won't say we've done all that we can, but things are going in the right direction. The numbers are trending in the right direction. Chief Fenner, HPD have done a yeoman's job. And I think it's important to point out the successes for the men and women who are out there on the street 24/7, sacrificing their lives for the safety of the city. To ignore the numbers is to ignore what they're doing and the sacrifices that police officers are making, and even for people in the community. So I think it's important to point out what the numbers are as we deal with, for example, the perception, and then work collectively to drive those numbers down even more. But we are trending in the right direction. We still have a lot of work to do.
Well, I know one of the things that's in the news this week is your presenting to council the opportunity for them to change the dynamic, the way the public works as far as the drainage concerns. I know that our television station's been hammering you about that, about different things, and whether or not that led to it or not doesn't matter. You came to council and you said, okay, this is what we want to do. It was tabled for next week. But do you feel comfortable about what you presented as the right plan going forward? And do you think you would have, should have, or could have done anything sooner?
Well, I feel very confident that the 9 proposed changes that we are making will make a significant difference, positive difference, for the overwhelming percentage of people who are complaining about their water bills going up. When you have ordinances that have been in place for years, for example, that don't allow for 100% credit when there's a leak at your home, and the only thing, for example, that we could have offered was a 50% credit. Well, look, if you have a leak, and let's say you have a $1,000 water bill, and you know that's so unlike what you've been experiencing, and you come to the city, and the city says, well, we can give you a credit for 50% of that. Well, what the hell that's going to do for me? Mm-hmm. So I had a $1,000 leak. You're going to give me a credit that's going to take me down to $500, but I've been paying, for example, $100. Really?
And an ordinance was in place that would keep
prior to.
Right.
There were about we're changing about 5 to 6 ordinances that would have prevented Public Works from providing relief that would be commensurate to what people were actually using and what they should have been paying. So we're now revising those ordinances. And even when people came and they said, okay, Public Works, now you're giving us a credit, we're going to appeal that because that's still more. When you go to the appeal and to the public hearing officers are going to be looking at the ordinances that are in place. And so if they are operating, Public Works is operating in accordance to the ordinance, then they can't undo the ordinance because that's just like the law.
Right.
So we are revising those ordinances where, for example, even if you have a private leak and your water bill goes up, and then we discover that it is a private leak and you make the repair within 30 days, under the ordinance that we're putting forth, you can get 100% credit. And if it's a private leak and you make it in that second billing cycle, you can still get a 75% credit.
So I want to talk to you about what's next for you. We have a limited amount of time. We could do 24/7. You know that. You and I could talk for 24
right.
hours. But I have a limited amount of time. So coming back after the break, I want to ask about what's next for you and what do you think for the future of the city of Houston. We'll do that after the break.